Top of the day to you. This is Esther Davis. You know what? Out of all the shows we've done over the years, my voice might go and come. I have been speaking too much this week, so I do apologize for that in advance. But now we want to get down to something that's very, very, very serious. And when I say serious, it affects your pocketbook. It's your money. We're going to talk about judgments. I have a question for you. How many of you have a judgment out there that you have not collected on? Okay, I don't care where it is. Is it in Dallas County? Is it in Tarrant County? Is it down in Navarro County? If you have a judgment, I want you to call somebody, tell them that we're having this show about judgments. And from what I understand, and I'll have the professional come in a minute and correct me. From what I understand, a judgment, you can go back and refile it. But the point is, let's talk about money. We're going into the holiday period here. And I have a very special lady. This woman is awesome because she says, well, I can't get out, so you can come over to my house. So this is not my studio. This is the home of Mr. Jerome. And I want you to please welcome to the Esther Davis Show, Mr. Jerome Gladly. Hey, you are just a lovely woman.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, and I want you to speak up just a little bit for me, because we don't like using the wires and that stuff. I like just being free. But you had a judgment.
Yes,
Now walk me through this, just sort of a little bit on what.
I had a judgment for a personal claim for my property of my 2014 Dodge Charger.
Car. She said it with such pride, and that you love this car.
I was crazy about my car.
Okay.
So, and being that it was stolen, it was damaged pretty bad. So, of course, I had to file insurance claim, and they covered everything.
Okay.
And I went to a body shop to have it repaired.
All right.
Didn't think that the things that happened would have happened, but you know, when you're dealing with a company, you expect it to be more professional and that your work is done and completed on time.
On time, right. So I can get back in my car.
Yes.
Exactly.
So I could get back in my car. And during that process, I may have had a rental approximately 3 weeks.
Oh my.
Yes.
Okay.
So
the car wasn't totaled.
The car was
just
not
needed some
totaled. It
basic-
just needed quite a bit damage that was done more on the driver's side, on the right panel. I mean on the left panel. It was quite a bit of damage done there.
Okay.
And so I took it to a body shop that I had used in the past. So I figured I've used them before.
Oh, so you had history with this.
I had history with this company, so I took it there expecting to get the same results as before, but that didn't happen.
When did you detect there was something wrong?
After I started receiving the phone calls, when are you gonna come sign the check? When are you gonna sign? And I'm like, well, you know I'm not supposed to sign the check.
Oh, so the conversation turned from
Until-
repairs on my car to the check.
Yes,
because
the insurance company
Okay,
sent the check,
All right.
and it was in the company's name and my name. So this particular person was calling constantly for me to come sign the check.
All right.
And of course I was like, well, I was leery at first, but
Yeah,
then
fix
I was
my
like,
car, then I'll come for
but
the
I was
check.
like, well, since I've used him before, he said he needed to get some more parts, and he needed the money to do it. So I said, okay, I'll be over there whatever day it was. And a few days later, I did go over there and sign the check. However, we didn't go to the bank.
My guest is Sharon Gladly. We're talking today to this lovely lady about a judgment that she received. And I was most interested in how you collect on the judgment. Now, and we're telling you this story, paraphrasing it, because I want to get to the professional person that is giving us information on how you collect on your judgments. All right, but you haven't gotten to that point quite yet, right?
No,
And you're just getting a little suspicious at this point?
I just kept getting suspicious
Okay.
and wondering why my car is not completed. And so another week went by, And that's when I said enough is enough. Hey, we need to get this car completed, or I'll just come take the car. You can reimburse me the money, and I'll just take it somewhere else.
Okay. But the check came.
The check did come.
And he's calling you now about the check.
Yes.
Which you know you're not supposed to sign.
Which
so
you're not supposed to sign.
Let's go there. Tell me what happened.
I did sign because, like I said, I had used him before, so I trusted him.
Right.
And in signing, the entire check went to him. However, because of my trust instinct, all right, I made him sign at the bottom of that check stub saying that he received the entire amount.
You had what?
I had that instinct that if anything ever happens, I have to have proof that this is what happened.
You know, when you say that, it makes me think, most people wouldn't have thought about doing that.
No.
No.
I just always, anytime I'm dealing with stuff, I try to get some kind of proof.
Okay.
Because if anything happened down the line, you got your proof.
That's a good point. I want to bring that up when I get Mr. Willis here. But go ahead. This is a great story.
And so, another week went by. So now we're probably a month into this, and my car is still not completed. So what I did was I went by the police station and asked them to escort me over to the property.
Ooh.
Because I had a feeling it wouldn't be just okay, you can take your car. So I did, and I'm glad I did, because they did not want to release the car to me because it was not completed, and they know it wasn't completed. So
Now you have the police there.
Yes, and they just told them we're just here just for purposes in case anything happens. But this is her property, she's allowed to take it. And that's what I did. So I took the car back and brought it home. And in the meantime, what I did was I called back to the shop and said, okay, you still owe, so how are we going to fix this problem? And it was, we don't owe you anything. You took your car. I said, no, I have a copy of the estimate.
So you had the estimate.
So I went by my estimate, so I knew what you were supposed to do and not do.
Right.
But in the somehow in between then, I went to put gas in the car, and it was leaking gas. I'm driving it, but it's leaking gas.
Oh.
So I had to take it to the dealership and pay out of pocket for that to get fixed. So I need a receipt for that. Because everything that I'm doing, I need a receipt for it. So when I go see the judge, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, he's not going to just say, okay, here's your money. I'm going to have to go file a judgment. I already knew it.
All right.
And so I did just that. Asked for the money. Still did not get it. So I called again. Now I'm speaking to the owner, who was not willing in any way to partake.
Now you're having trouble getting this judgment.
Yes.
How long was it? You go to small claims court?
I went to small claims.
Did you file your own judgment?
I did.
But you're still trying to collect your money over here in the meanwhile?
Still trying to get there also.
Okay.
So I paid for the small claims. They gave me a fee. I asked for the receipt, because all of that is going in my folder.
Right.
And they told me how to do it, what to do. But before I went to court to file, I sent a certified letter in the mail.
To the owners?
To the owners, and I gave them 30 days to respond.
Do you have a legal background?
No, ma'am.
What do you do for living?
I'm a radiology.
You're a radiologist.
I take x-rays. so no legal background, just.
So you got, I need to finish your story. So now you have a judgment from the JP court.
Yes.
And now what happens?
After
you able to collect your money?
No, we did not. I went to court. We were given a court date because, again, they fought that.
They did show up at court, though.
They did come to court, and the judge was even more like, let's go look at the car, So after looking at the car, he didn't find that they owed me the entire amount, but at least a portion of it, which, was at least half of what they had taken.
Wait, let me get this straight. So the judge gets off the bench.
He got off the bench and wanted to go outside and look at the car.
I didn't know judges did that.
And that was to my surprise. I was like, well, I'm going to drive this car to court today just in case. I never expected him to do it, but he did. And he went out and he did tell me the body work is not done the way I wanted it done, or it wasn't complete, but he gave them credit for it. But once we went back inside, he told them the amount that they still owed me. And
so that was the judgment that he rendered.
That was the judgment he rendered. And they argued that.
Now, how long did you sit on this judgment and not do anything before you called my next guest?
This was February when all of this happened for court and everything. So I received a call from Mr. Will about 4 months later.
4 months later.
Maybe 3, 4 months
But in that
later.
time span, did you have any idea, okay, what am I going to do next? Who do I call? Did you go through any form of wonderment
No, ma'am.
about how do I get my money?
I just said maybe they'll call me. Or I expected them to send something monthly because that is what the judge told them.
Oh, okay.
That
So
they
there was
needed
an
to-
arrangement of something before you left the court.
That he told them they had to pay me.
Ah.
And if they didn't, he even told them something about a 5% interest is added at the end of each year.
I gotta make
That
sure I
they
ask
pay.
Mr. Willis about that. So, we're talking about a very serious problem. And it's very serious because our courts, I say this all of the time, it's not just on this segment of Esther Davis, but our courts are overloaded. Everything in our justice system in 2018 is overloaded, overpowering, understaffed, and I said that. But what we do want you to understand is that there is a position that you take with the court system. Like Ms. Gladly, Ms. Sharon Pash, she took the mantle and got this thing all the way to getting your money back.
Getting my money back.
You had to hire somebody, you had to have somebody to
I did.
take care of it.
I did.
You got some other services.
I did.
Now we come to the important part. You know, you are just wonderful. I'm going to take a little bit of a break and I'm going to have Mr. Willis come on. But Ms. Sharon Gladly, that is a very, very powerful testimony. What is the message you want to leave with people?
To basically make sure you keep proof. Always
yeah,
have
you
proof.
said receipts 3 times. So
I
got
kept my
got
receipts and I did what I needed to do.
Okay, okay.
And just make sure you keep up with all your receipts. And if you don't trust something, just make sure you go and follow it. Follow your instincts.
That's right. She mentioned instincts a couple of times here. You just knew. It doesn't take 3 weeks to fix a car.
No. I think on the estimate it was about 7 to 10 working days.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, it's Esther Davis. You're watching the Esther Davis Show, of course. I'm going to be right back with Mr. Kelvin Willis, and Mr. Willis is from Judgment Collection Boss.com. We're going to put that up on the screen for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
wonderful, wonderful.
Hi, I'm Kelvin Lewis. I'm the owner of JudgmentCollectionBoss.com. We're dedicated to the collection and enforcement of judgments. We do skip tracing, we do asset searches, we do whatever is necessary to locate, better, enforce your judgment. You can visit our website at JudgmentCollectionBoss.com. Or you can give me a call at 469-535-0363. Call me anytime.
And we're back. You're back with the Esther Davis Show. And a very hot topic we're talking about today. Nobody really touches judgments because judgments are, I don't know if they're taboo, people forget about them, but every single day in the United States there is a judge rendering a judgment. And what we're talking about today is how you can solve that problem. Judgment is rendered by the judge. The judge's job has already been done. So now it's up to you to go to the next step. My guest is Kelvin Willis. Mr. Kelvin Willis has a company called Judgment Collections. He will collect your judgment, and he's the boss. So on your screen is going to be judgmentcollectionboss.com with his telephone number on it. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good today, Miss Ester.
You're good today.
Yes, thank you.
I have enjoyed your friendship for a long, long time. Even when you were a paralegal running from courtroom to courtroom. What are you doing now?
I'm still doing freelance paralegal.
Okay.
I contract as a paralegal my services out to attorneys, and I still do that. But I've started this judgment collection practice, an additional.
In addition to this.
Yes, ma'am. It complements what I've been doing for almost 30 years.
Yeah, you've been doing it a while. You know, I can hear it now. I'm going to get the phone call that says, oh, Miss Davis, I didn't even know people existed. You got to stop watching the stuff on TV and get down to the business. Watch the Ester Davis show. We'll keep you informed. All right, your client just invited us to her home and explained what you did. But that's a great testimony.
Yes, Miss Gladney, she's a wonderful person. Yes.
And she didn't hesitate when I called. She knew who you were, and she says, oh yeah, I'll tell Stefan.
Well, she's a remarkable person. She's one of the ones that I remember for quite some time. Yeah, I was impressed. Normally, I don't take a case that small. I think her case, as I recall, was only a little bit over a couple $1,000.
Why'd you take it?
She's a very interesting person.
Yeah, she's a radiologist for one thing.
Well, I mean, her personality and attitude,
Yeah.
really, is what got me. And she explained the situation to me, and the facts of what happened. And she's a fighter.
She's a fighter, all right.
Yeah.
Now walk me through what happened after you did the conversation with her. What happened from that point?
Well, I contacted. After her judgment had been assigned to me. That's the normal process. We usually purchase and have the judgments assigned to us,
Okay.
and that authorizes us, own it where I can pursue it. And so, it's customary. We reach out, send out a letter, 30-day notice, in compliance with the Fair Debt Collection Act. Give them an opportunity to deny whether or not they're the right person or deny the debt, and if they demand proof and information, we provide that in accordance with the law. And, we notify and let them know we're going to pursue the debt aggressively. And
Aggressively?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh.
And from over the years of, litigation and working with attorneys, I've gathered quite a bit of experience in litigation in different areas of the law.
Right.
And so I employ those different skills in collection, because collecting these judgments, I tell you, you have to know how to put together and dissect a corporation, because some of these debtors are corporate people, corporate owners, businesses and stuff, and so you have to be familiar with the laws that's applicable to the particular situation. Excuse me.
Okay.
And so, after I give them an opportunity to respond to a letter, and
You give them 30 days.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, and by law, according to my understanding, we have to do that. And if they contest or reject the debt, then we provide them the information that's required by law. And after that 30 days, and we find out they're the person and they're not responding or trying to work it out, we get in behind hot pursuit of them, and we're very aggressive. And our success rate is pretty high.
I was going to ask what would be a success rate. JudgmentCollectionBoss.com. This is your card, and you said our mission: we will conduct a thorough investigation to uncover any assets or sources of income and take whatever steps are necessary to legally seize them. So you have power to seize assets. How does that work?
Well, if we locate assets,
Like what?
real estate,
Okay.
bank accounts, stocks, bonds, anything of value that's not considered non-exempt,
You go after it.
yes, we file the necessary paperwork in the courts, and the judge, he'll hold a hearing, and we'll decide whether or not they should be utilized to satisfy the outstanding debt.
I'm reading his card here. about collecting a debt. If someone, you have a judgment against someone, you can get your money. Doesn't matter how big, right?
It doesn't matter how low.
How large. Now tell me this, if she had waited 7 years, is there a statute of limitation on these judgments?
Well, there is some laws that applies to the life of the judgment.
Okay.
And there's things that you have to take actions on to, judgments normally are only good for 10 years. And if you don't take the appropriate actions, they become dormant and worthless. They become a worthless IOU. And so it's important that certain actions be taken. And most people, especially when they represent themselves in small claim courts and so forth, they're not aware of their rights.
No, they're not aware, because until you updated me on this, I had no idea that you could collect on a judgment within a 10, you can collect on a judgment.
Yes,
With your
ma'am.
services, you can do that.
Yes, and you can renew it.
You can renew it?
Yes.
How do you do that?
For another 10 years. Well, there's certain things you can do.
You have to come see you, right?
Yes, just give me a call, visit my website.
And I'm reading the brochure here. I like this statement. We have access to both private and public databases that allow us to skip trace the debtor and to locate any assets that you might have. What is skip trace?
Skip trace is when a person, usually these people, the debtors usually move, change their
Oh,
addresses.
okay.
Sometimes they even leave town, leave the state.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have to skip trace them
Skip
wherever
trace,
they are.
okay.
You have to locate them in most cases. In some cases, I just locate the assets and satisfy the judgment and pay my client.
I learned a new word today to my great audience, skip trace. And we will garnish wages, attach bank accounts, and seize assets.
Okay, now as it relates to garnishing wages and all that stuff, in Texas, and I'm not allowed to give any legal advice because I'm not an attorney. And so in Texas, we're not allowed to garnish wages. It's, in each state,
Yeah.
they have their own laws.
Never set of laws.
Yes, and you have to respect and comply with each state laws. And so, that's why we don't get into any, legal advice and all that. It's just like, if we have service, and if you need, if you need the service, you hadn't received your money, just turn it over to us and we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it from there. And we'll bring in attorneys if we need.
Yeah, and you have a litany, a bookcase of attorneys.
Yes.
I have to say this about Kelvin, and I love this when people do this for me. We talked about coming on the show, and he said, and within 3 or 4 sentences, he says, "Oh, I can give you references." So he gives me 3 references, and I did call all 3 of them. One was the constable.
He's a bailiff in
He's
one
a
of the
bailiff
courts.
in one of the courts. And then he calls me back this morning, and he says, "Well, I can't do the show this morning, Dr. Davis, because I'm serving warrants." So he has this constable that I talked to. And the talkative lady from Highland Park,
Yes.
oh, I gotta go see her. She didn't stop talking. But anyway, we have references about the work that has been done. What do you want to leave with the audiences? What do you want to...
Well, just allow us, to look at your case, review it. And because actually judgments are just IOU unless you you do something, take actions and enforce your judgment. Don't just sit around and think that they're going to contact you and they're going to take some type of initiative to make arrangements to pay you. You have to be aggressive and pursue the matter. And if you don't know how to pursue your rights, it's best to contact an attorney or either contact us. We are not attorneys, but we specialize in collecting and enforcing your judgment. So allow us to turn your worthless IOUs into cash.
I listen to Judge Judy as often as I can, and she renders judgments all of the time. But then in the back of my mind, I know that the judgment is senseless if you don't go and start a collection process for that money.
Right.
So that's what our show is about today. Now, I know that those of you that are watching us on BPEN or around the world, My director and producers are now telling me we are worldwide, so I will be changing my message if you call. And I do want to tell you about, just briefly, about the African American Museum. African American Museum Dallas is going to welcome to Dallas slavery at Monticello. That's the plantation of Thomas Jefferson. I am part of the kickoff. We want you to be present. I need African Americans to be very, very interested in this exhibit. It is about slavery, and it's about the artifacts that were found in the cabin of Sarah Hemings. I'm Esther Davis, and as usual, you really are the greatest audience in the world. Call Mr. Kevin Willis. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you were wonderful.